Some people witness history, others preserve it. For decades, Art Tebaldo has done both, from painting canvases to capturing defining moments as a photojournalist, and now telling stories through film. His passion has never changed: to document life and preserve memories. In this second episode of Dapay di Cordillera, we take a glimpse into the life of the man behind the lens and the legacy he continues to build.
Ito yung mga projector noon, pinaproject na ganyan. So, meron akong mga pang-demo na pwedeng mag-project.
Oo.
Yung film, ito pa ganyan, i-project.
Okay.
Tapos dito sa yung slides, tapos i-gawin mo.
Ayun.
Yan, i-project. Ito mga photos ito ng mga slides. Mga slides sa iba-ibang countries to.
Yes, sir, that's my baby. No, sir, I don't mean maybe.
Yan.
Yes, sir, that's my baby. Yes,
Well, I'm good. I'm already 65 years old, senior citizen, and retiree after working for 37 full years in government, and the same time as practicing media in a private capacity. So habang nasa government ako, on the side, I do teaching job and contribute to our local publications. Hindi ako nagpapabayad at saka hindi ako I never earned really from submitting photos, writing news releases. So it's part of my passion. And my role also as public information officer when I was with the government.
Oo. So it's talaga witness rin, no? Yung natin na very active na participation natin sa community.
Yeah.
Okay. Sige sir, start natin siguro sa story mo sir. Can you describe yourself po nung mga days na nasa government pa kayo?
Okay, from the start, I'd like to say na I'm a Baguio boy. I was born and raised here in the city of Baguio. My experience as a child is really something that, most of us kids who grew up in Baguio or cannot forget. Like, we were newsboys, we were shoeshine boys. Hindi ako nagbenta ng dyaryo noon, pero nag-shine ako ng sapatos. Para lang magkaroon kami ng experience, para lang magkaroon kami ng pambayad sa sinihan, kasi mahilig kami sa sinihan. O kaya pag-rent ng comics, kasi uso ang mga Batman, Superman, mga Spider-Man noon, yung kabataan namin. So nagre-rent kami, 5 pesos, 10 centavos, 5 centavos, 10 centavos, comics. Kaya noon pa man, hindi kami talaga nagbabasa ng mga Tagalog, puro English. Mga DC and Marvel comics.
So, fan ka din pala sir ng mga okay. Sir, kamusta naman so far nung nagtatrabaho ka? Na-pursue mo naman yung...
Okay, I worked with government first during the time of the late Ferdinand Marcos, the senior. It was my second job actually as a media, pero dun kasi ako nag-start sa government. So I was BTR editor or news video editor sa News Center 4. And that was during the 1985 snap elections. I was hired as a standby reporter, standby editor. Okay, during that 1985 snap election, I was then a BTR editor at News Center 4. I knew that there's going to be a change in government. I knew na tingin sa akin ng mga karamihan na is Marcos loyalist. So after Marcos fled the country, after the EDSA revolution, pumasok yung Cory government. So kami na mga taga Ilocano, hindi na kami pinapansin. So umuwi na lang ako. So I was jobless for several months. Nag-carnival ako, nag-shooting gallery ako. Accident happened, natamaan ng pellet ganito. So I have a scar, 3 stitch dito sa ano. But it's an experience. Okay? So I volunteered, wala pang hiring noon, but I volunteered under the Cory regime. So I volunteered, walang sweldo. So sabi ko naman, binata naman ako noon. So I entered the National Media Production Center. That eventually became the Philippine Information Agency. So after the 1986 EDSA revolution, nakikiusap na yung mga Cory government sa mga rebels. It so happened that Father Conrado Balweg split up from the New People's Army that he created his Cordillera People's Liberation Army. So nagkaroon ng peace talks sa Sagada. Doon nagsimula actually yung concept ng peace talks, peace dialogues. And it eventually led to the creation of EO 220. So nagkaroon ng Executive Order 220 separating CAR from Regions 1, separating the provinces, Benguet, Mountain Province from Region 1, and then Kalinga, Apayao, and Ifugao from Region 2. So naging CAR. So, and then since we were in the public information, kami na ngayon yung nag-advocate for regional autonomy. So we assisted the regional bodies like Cordillera Executive Board, Cordillera Regional Assembly, CRCC. So eventually I was hired. Naging regular officer na ako ng Philippine Information Agency. So that was the start of my career as a regular public information officer sa PIA. So marami kami experience. My wife who was then working with central office. She was assigned dito sa Cordillera, and eventually, since siya yung inassign ng central office, she became the team leader and eventually the regional director of the Philippine Information Agency. So ganun, so I had to look for other agencies. I became a media specialist at DTI naman. So yun yung marami kami experience. Ambush kami sa Abra, tapos namatay ng mga CPLA, and nagko-cover din ako ng mga NTF, mga CPDF, mga NPA, so I was suspected as infiltrator. So yung ganun mga experience, like yung pagsabog ng PMA sa 1987, I was there, malapit, because I was coordinating for the media accreditation during the time of Cory Aquino. Yung time kasi na yun, magkakaroon dapat ng parang mock rehearsal. So happen na, unang pumutok yung bomba, so nasira yung grandstand. Natuloy naman yung graduation ng PMA cadet 4 days after. So those were the memorable, mga unforgettable experiences in my career. Now I'm retired after 37 years.
Pero yung mga ganun, sir, na mga experiences or situations.
It's part of the job as a journalist. So, I am into photojournalism. Noong una, hindi pa ako talaga nagsusulat because I do film. So, my background as a filmmaker, kami yung mga unang students ng UP Film Centers. So, those experiences actually, yung mga portfolio ko na ngayon, that's what helped me become who I was when I entered government. So, nagkaroon ako ng portfolio. Meron akong award-winning films, meron akong award-winning painting. So, parang ganun. So, it's for a young career person, dapat mag-generate ka ng portfolio mo na magpapatunay na, oh, ito yung iyong skill, ito yung iyong capabilities. So I was so aggressive then. Sumasali ako ng mga competition, maraming talo. So yun yung gusto kong sabihin na sali ka lang ng sali ng competitions, sali ka lang ng sali ng mga gusto mong pasukin. Maraming frustrations, pero kung minsan may mga paisa-isa na rewards din naman.
Okay. Okay, dumako naman tayo sir sa bagong na-post niyo po recently about the 1990 earthquake.
Okay.
Sir, can you tell us more about your experiences po pala nun?
That was about how many years ago? 1990, okay, 36 years ago. So, yeah, my wife and I was still, I was still with the Philippine Information Agency. Yung misis ko was pregnant then, about to deliver via cesarean section kasi nga hindi siya, no? And that thing happened. It was on a daylight saving time. So instead na 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock sa clock natin. So we were at the PIA office. Parang meron lang kaming konting office meeting and then that thing happened. Sanay naman kami sa mga earthquake pero kakaiba ito. Meron yung pag-upheave, meron yung swaying, tapos may iikot ka na ganun. So it was really terrible na parang we had the feeling na naku, end of the world. Parang kasi tingin namin magko-collapse na lahat na building eh. Our office building then was made of wood. Okay lang naman na lahat ng mga TV nagtutumbahan. So we nagyakapan na lang kami doon sa isang kanto until it calmed down. Nung medyo tumigil konti, tuwak muna kami sa labas. We were at close to Otec Street sa Rizal Park pala. Close to Otec Street pero very close to Rizal Park. So yung aming evacuation area was right nearby sa Otec, sa Rizal Park. And siyempre tatanungin mo ako yung what was your role as a newsman? Parang kinalimutan ko na maging newsman, maging cameraman, photojournalist because my concern at that very moment was the welfare of my wife na pregnant. What if tatakbo tapos matutumba tapos maapektuhan yung baby? That's why we braced each other. Kumapit kami sa isang wall, poste hanggang nagkalma yung pagyanig and then we went out. So that's only siguro about few minutes after na naisipan ko na sige mag-scout ako kung ano nangyayari sa paligid. So since I have a camera, tumakbo lang ako sa may Harrison Road and then bumalik kagad. So I saw what happened, nagtatakbuhan yung mga tao, wangwang dito, wangwang doon, panic. Nakita ko na yung mga natutumba ng mga nakita ko na yung mga affected areas. Pero hindi pa ako umakyat ng Session Road dahil bumalik agad ako to check my wife. So as I said, kinalimutan ko na mag-journalist. Total, wala rin naman kuryente, hindi rin naman ako mag-submit agad ng report. So our means of communication then was through single side band radio, yung over. So you have to You have to check the signal kung meron nakikinig. So, Region 1, Region 1, do you copy? Region 2, do you copy? Central Office, do you copy? Pag may sumagot, wala. It so happened na ang sumagot is Basilan, Tawi-Tawi. Okay, looks like yung signal namin eh hindi makakapagpansa. Basilan, can you relate to Central Office? 10-4. So yung hindi kami narinig ng Central Office dahil yung communication signal it runs through the clouds. That's the concept kasi ng single sideband. So mas malinaw pa yung Tawi-Tawi Basilan kaysa signal ng Quezon City or Manila. So nalaman na nila nagkaroon ng earthquake. Yun pala, pati pala Agoo, Tugiga, Nueva Ecija, Nueva Vizcaya, Ilocos, La Union. So it was really massive. Dagupan, nalaman na lang namin yung mga scenario sa different areas. Like sa Dagupan, there was this liquefaction. Because Dagupan is very close to the shore, nagli-liquefy yung mga earth, yung solid earth. Akala mo solid na yan, yung pala nagli-liquefy. So yung mga building doon lumubog na ganyan. So that's what happened. Then all access, road access were cut. Maraming gumuha na bundok, Cannon Road, lalo na. So we learned one day after na marami parang packet ng Baguio na nataganan sa Cannon Road. So for my photo documentations, yung mga lumalabas sa social media, mostly I took those shots siguro 1 week after, 2 weeks after, nung nag-aerial shot na kami. Because we were with government then, with Jody Alabans, Director Jody Alabans of NEDA, nag-helicopter kami papuntang Ifugao, papuntang Mountain Province, nag-ikot kami just to check on the Cordillera situation. So nakita namin na maraming gumuho sa Ambuclao Dam, sa mga Binga Dam, gumuho. And there was parang massive erosion sa mga mountains. So yun. By the way, since buntis yung anak ko noon, buntis si Mrs. pala, about to deliver nga, on that very day, same day, July 16, na-delay kami. Buti na lang may mga rescue, may mga airlift helicopters ang US government, US Air Force. So from Luacan Airport na airlift kami up to 4 Point sa San Fernando, La Union. So helicopter yon, marami kami. Nakita ko dun sa katabi ko, dun sa kaharap ko dun sa helicopter, survivor ng Hayat, isang kadete na putol yan paa pero hawak ng kadete yung kanyang paa. Nakabalot, naka-ano. So yun yung kailangan may urgency kasi kung magtatagal pa yung paa niya, mabubulok lang yun. So kailangan priority were given to the injured passengers. So since hindi naman ako injured, ako na yung pumarga yung sa survivor ng Hayat para mai-transfer kami sa isang eroplano ng DND with then Secretary Fidel V. Ramos. Siya yung secretary kasi ng Department of National Defense. Feel ko na noon it was an obligation. Parang you're a journalist, you have a camera, you have that tool, you have that gadget to document a thing that's happening at that particular time. So you have parang you-impose upon yourself a duty, particular duty. Which is yung duty ko, na-appreciate ko ngayon kasi now, kita ng mga tao na, ito pala. Maski walang pangalan ko doon na, basta nakita ko na, that's mine, I don't mind. Kasi ngayon sa social media, once anything that you upload becomes public domain, naniniwala ko din eh. I do not believe in watermarking.
dumako naman tayo dito sa ating museum in general. So, when did this start yung pag-collect?
Okay, because I'm both artist and journalist, no? Nagko-collect ako ng mga, siyempre, yung mga lahat na may kinalaman sa printing. So, mga, and my thesis, typewriter ako, I collected my typewriters, mga printing shop, yung mga ganyan. And cameras, nagkahilig ako. Sabi ko, might as well collect, gather more of this. And since as early as 2006, ginagawa ko na ito. Ako mismo ang nagkuhan kasi ano rin ako, mahilig din ako sa carpentry. Ako rin ang nagwe-welding na sa mga ganito. And then, 2007, habang nagtuturo ako sa Saturday, sa weekends, or after 5, minsan dinadala ko yung mga estudyante ko dito. Pinapakita ko na dito sila nagtitaping, may green screen kami dyan. Okay, so may mga mock interview, dito ginaganap. Until time came na wala ng space because marami na akong na-accumulate. So I have accumulated a lot from donations. In fact, bago namatay si Direk Mike De Leon, dinonate niya sa akin yung isang movie camera ng LVN, ng pamilya nila, complete with the lenses, tripods, yung Nagra field recorder for interviews ng boses. So, kumpleto, pati yung mga editing machine niya na gagamitin sana sa isang pelikula na gusto niyang gawin. Hindi na tuloy yung pelikula, pero yung mga props, binigay na niya sa akin. So yun yung meron siyang pangarap noon. So other items were donated by friends from media, friends from yung mga nakakakuha na, may media museum pala sa Baguio. So now, nagiging tight na ang lugar na to. I'm looking forward to partnering with an institution, para dito sa Baguio o kaya elsewhere nearby, dito na lang siguro gawin yung media museum about media. So meron akong mannequin dyan to show kung ano talaga yung ano talaga yung mga itsura namin, ano yung mga ginagamit namin, kung ano yung nasa laman ng bulsa namin. Because aside from the camera, aside from our press cards, aside from we have vests, we have radio, we have knife, we have kumisan may biscuit pa sa kasi inaabot kami ng taggutom, meron kaming kakainin. Madalas sa amin kasi when we are practicing outside the city, in remote areas, kailangan minsan nalilipasan kami ng gutom. So it's important na ready kami. Ready kami with Swiss knife, ganyan. Ready kami with parang gano'n.
Parang Indiana Jones yung datingan niyo sa'yo na.
Parang
Ayun. Oo. Tapos, actually, nung nakita ko ito noong una, ikaw na kaagad yung naisip ko. Oo.
Actually, suit ko yan dati.
Ay, kaya wala sa'yo. Mag-one. Met sa'yo. Okay. Sir, yung expansion, nasabi mo naman. Yung, pero are there other places? Bakit pinag-iisipan mo?
Okay, you must have heard news before na bakit ko pinupush yung Baguio Post Office na manatili na heritage site. Because I see myself as not only as a teacher, but as a historian. Importante na we value things of the past like letter writing, sending postcards and letters. Because I have a lot of those. Ngayon kasi with the advent of social media, wala nang nagsusulat. Wala nang nagte-text na lang. With my background, ang background ko kasi may subject ako sa school na lettering. So I'm quite familiar with Gothic, Times New Roman, yung mga ganon, yung mga Old English,
Oo, sir.
yung mga cursive na ganyan. So, it's an art actually. So, now, why pushing for the Baguio Post Office? We're thinking, kasi ang Baguio is a creative city for crafts and folk arts, but Baguio is also a communication hub by the fact na ang daming universities, ang daming ano dito, we have strategic advantage. We have tower dyan sa Santo Tomas. We have the radar dyan sa Mount Cabuyao. In fact, ito yung mga nilalakbay aral ng mga IT o kaya mga ECE o kaya yung mga communication students from elsewhere. Yung pumupunta dito sa Media Museum doon, actually mga naglalakbay aral. Why? Because of communication, because of technology. Dito kasi sa Media Museum ko, I discuss yung print, radio, television, and now social media, including AI. Diba, meron akong briefing, meron akong ABP na using AI that I completed last year. Kasi iba yung technology ng 2025, ngayon 2026. Kung yung AI nung last year, may balahibo na nga, pero may maglitchas pa rin. Pero ngayon, gumaganda yung AI. So you don't really need to enroll in cinematography, photography. Kung gusto mo lang yung gumawa ng pelikula, okay? But, in fact, importante naman kasi yung basics. Yung natututunan mo sa mga batikan ng mga director, the wisdoms, the experiences, yung mga na hindi pwedeng ibibigay sa iyo ni AI. So what I'm saying, technically, pwede naman kami gumawa ng pelikula. Halimbawa, mountain scene na may naglalakad na unggoy, kasama yung naglalakad na cowboy, nagkakabayo pa. Ang ganda. Kaya nang gawin ni AI, but then it's, you have to prompt it. You have to, so, me, I still believe na nothing beats hard work. And hard work means yung drawing, dinidirect mo, ano mo. Hindi mo sinushortcut.
Yung kasi yung narinig namin yung AI generates, pero creativity, that's from the person.
Oo, yeah. From an early age experience, you can carry that as you grow older. Kung nasubukan mo na mag-pirap nung bata ka pa, o kaya yung nag-pirap habang you're growing up, makikita mo yung kakayanin mo, yung future mo. You have survived. Sorry ngayon kasi yung hindi niyo na kasi panahon ngayon yung binabato ng erasyon ng teacher.
Naabutan namin yung contest.
Yung mga pinapatayo ng tapos hinihiya ang teacher, may pinipingot pa noon. Nasubukan namin yan. Pero ngayon kasi nagbabago na yung nagbabago na yung society natin, nagbabago na yung mga batas, yung mga restriction. At natutuwa ako dahil hindi na kami pwedeng kumbaga yung experience namin yon is equipping us with that kind of maturity, with that kind of strength, stamina, na hindi lang kami basta-basta mahihirapan. Okay? So I hope na yung kabataan ngayon ay take it easy with problems. Huwag kayong ang worry ko sa kabataan ngayon is yung kanilang mental health. Pagalitan lang is magwawala na. Walang baon ay hindi na siya papasok. Yung mga ganon. So, continue to learn more from experienced people. Iwas-iwasan muna masyado na mag-gadget. Siguro you can set a time limit for yourselves. ako na mismo kayo, okay lang kasi senior citizen na ako. Merong time clock para sa use of social media, 7 hours a day. Yung mga ganun. So yung mga kabataan ngayon, be cautious or conscious of those. Kung 7 hours a day, grabe na yata yun. 8 hours a day, mukhang grabe na yata yun. Try nyo naman na tulungan ng parents nyo na maghugas, maglinis ng bahay, na wag lang nakaharap palagi yung gadget. Yun lang. When I was studying, ang sumiksik sa kaisipan ko yung sinabi na start from the Greeks. Ano ibig sabihin nun? That's why, nung nag-aral ako ng fine arts, dinodrawing ko yung mga Apollo, sina Venus, yung mga goddess na si Diana, yung mga ganun. Doon naman ako natuto. Natuto ako sa anatomy, natuto ako sa perspectives, sa human figures, proportion. No? So yung mga old, di makalumang, like yung paggamit ng camera, ng film. Pero gamit ko pa yun naman ngayon. Maski ang camera ko ngayon ay cellphone na. Because yung natutunan ko na yung how to compose, how to frame, how to isolate a subject using the old film, nagagamit ko pa rin naman ngayon sa digital camera o sa smartphone. So, tayo ngayon, napakadali na ang kumuha ng magandang larawan because of technology. Kung halimbawa may 3 tao kayo, tapos ayaw mo yung isang tao, pwede mo siguro yung isang tao, di ba? Using apps. Kung halimbawa may photo bomber, pwede mo tanggalin yung photo bomber using an app. Or a cleaning app software. So going back to the question, bakit sa tingin ko napakahalaga yung sinauna? It's a kind of a reflection. Kumbaga, it's a mirror that we look back to. Like, it reminds me of the past. Na, ito yung camera ko na ginamit ko nung ating si Pope John Paul II. Okay? Katulad ko siya. I was still a student. Nakunan ko si Pope John Paul II dyan sa Session Dome, 1981. 1981, I was still a student. Tapos, nung naging santo na si Pope John Paul II, that's the time na lumabas. Ginamit sa Sunstar. Ngayon, wala na yung Sunstar. So, all I have are clippings, news articles, mga ganyan. So, yung subject ko noong 1991 na Santo Papa, na hindi ko sinaksak sa Manila, naging santo, okay? It's part of history. Yun yung question, yun yung answer ko. It becomes part of history, yung mga, could be part of your personal history, family history, or national history, if ever na, like, yung mga documentations ko nun sa bundok kasama ko ng Father Balweg, it's part of the regional history ng Paglia.
So ano tong paano to Adel sa dali sa ating museum?
Well, I named it Art World and Media Museum. So, nandiyan naman yung mga, hindi ako masyado nag-paint ngayon, but I'm very much involved with the Creative Baguio City Council. So, involved po as artist. Tumutulong na lang ako sa ano. So, if I expand, sana may partner ako na magbibigay ng space. Because museum is really non-stop, non-profit. No? So, nabubuhay ang mga museum sa mga donations. Ako naman, hindi naman ako nagtupromote out. Although, kung may gusto mag-invest, I think partner with the investor. I'm making an educational institution. Before, pinuntan ko yung, meron din palang Fisher Shop Museum. So, we are creating a loop, parang tour, parang guided tour on museums.
If there's anyone who's interested, sir, to visit your
Okay lang sa because I'm now retired. Hindi ko muna ipopromote but for Ibagyo 2026, part ito sa parang creative crawl. So, whoever will message me sa aking FB na Art World and Media Museum, if I'm available, sige lang po. And then, I get charged. I don't, gusto lang mag-donate ng postcard, mag-donate ng collectible items, okay lang. So, I'm quite satisfied naman now if pareho naman kami retired issues.
History doesn't preserve itself. It lives on because of the people who choose to document it, protect it, and pass it on. Through the stories of Art Tibaldo and the Baguio Media Museum, we've seen that every photograph, print material, camera, artifact, and artwork is more than just a relic of the past. Each one is a testament to the journalists, photographers, storytellers, and even artists who dedicated their lives to capturing moments that continue to shape our understanding of the world. In a time when information moves faster than ever, this episode reminds us of the importance of preserving truth, remembering our past, and honoring the people behind the headlines. This has been Dapay di Cordillera. Until our next episode, may we continue to listen, learn, and keep our stories alive. Agbyag, and see you next time.